Good day, and welcome to the Government House Weekly Press Briefing and COVID-19 update for the week of April 24th, 2023. For the benefit of the radio listening audience, I am Government House Communications Director Richard Mota. If you are watching us live on the Government Access channel and notice a change in location, it's because we are coming to you live from the bulky International Airways, where Governor Bryan joined Virgin Islands Port Authority Executive Director Carlton Dow and other officials for the official welcome and inaugural flight of the territory's newest inter-island commercial airline, Fly the Whale. Territorial epidemiologist Dr. Esther Ellis is joining me this afternoon for the latest COVID-19 data and information on where Virgin Islands residents can get a COVID test, vaccine, and booster shot this week. Along with Dr. Ellis and me is FITEMA Director Daryl Joshin for information on the EPA's removal of hazardous chemicals at the Port Hamilton refinery. And also, we have Ms. Deborah Howell, who is the District Governor for Rotary District 7020, here to share some information on Rotary's district conference being held in St. Croix this weekend, which is exciting news. And so we have a full house here this afternoon, and we'll begin with Dr. Ellis. And as soon as Dr. Ellis is through with her briefing, we will then proceed with FITEMA Director Daryl Joshin and then Ms. Deborah Howell from there. So without further delay, I'll turn over this afternoon's briefing to the Department of Health. Dr. Ellis.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Director Mota, for the opportunity to provide the COVID-19 update today on behalf of Health Commissioner Justa Encarnacion. Before I provide the COVID numbers, on behalf of the VI Department of Health, I want to wish everyone a happy carnival. This is our first full carnival with absolutely no restrictions, and that is a testament to the resilience of Virgin Islands people. Our team is grateful to those of you who chose to become vaccinated and boosted, and to those of you who followed the health guidelines to get us to this point. For Carnival, our communicable diseases team is encouraging everyone to, quote, get checked before you fet, as part of the 340 Getting to Zero campaign. Look for them near the fort for free HIV/STD testing and for free prophylaxis. Also look for our Disparities Program team at the hydration station along the Juve route for a free bottle of Gatorade and hand sanitizer. The COVID-19 update. For the third week in a row, we are pleased to report that the number of COVID cases remains in the single digits and that our positivity rate is 1.7%. Today we have a total of 6 active cases territory-wide, 1 on St. Croix, 5 on St. Thomas, and 0 on St. John. And our hospitalizations territory-wide total 1. There is 1 hospitalization at the Juan F. Louis Hospital on St. Croix and 0 hospitalizations at the Schneider Regional Medical Center on St. Thomas. The department would also like to share that last week, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration announced amendments to the emergency use authorizations of the Moderna and Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 bivalent mRNA vaccines to simplify the vaccination schedule for most individuals. This action includes authorizing the current bivalent vaccines to be used for all doses administered to individuals 6 months of age and older, including an additional dose or doses for certain populations. The monovalent Moderna and Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccines are no longer authorized for use in the United States. You can find the details regarding these changes at www.fda.gov. According to the FDA, at this stage of the pandemic, data supports simplifying the use of the authorized mRNA bivalent COVID-19 vaccines. The FDA believes that this approach will help encourage future vaccination. Evidence is now available that most of the U.S. population 5 years of age and older has antibodies to SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, either from vaccination or infection, that can serve as a foundation for the protection provided by the bivalent vaccines. The COVID-19 continues to be a real risk for many people, and we encourage individuals to consider staying current with vaccination, including the bivalent vaccine. The federal public health emergency declaration ends next month on May 11th. However, not every benefit will immediately come to an end. While supplies last, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services will extend certain important protections to ensure that everyone has access to critical COVID-19 countermeasures, such as vaccines, tests, and treatments. The VI Department of Health continues to provide the flu vaccine and the COVID vaccine to the community free for as long as supplies last to everyone aged 6 months or older. For information about the locations and times of vaccines, please call our offices: 340-718-1311 on St. Croix, 340-774-7477 for adults on St. Thomas, and 340-777-8804 extension 2600 for children on St. Thomas. On St. John, visit the VI Port Authority gravel lot on Wednesdays between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. This week, we join the global community in observing World Immunization Week. For more than 2 centuries, vaccines have protected against deadly diseases, from smallpox to COVID-19. This year's campaign, The Big Catch-Up, represents a global push to return to pre-pandemic vaccination levels and to stop outbreaks from accelerating. We encourage you to find out what vaccines your child, and even you as an adult, may need to be protected. Call our immunization clinics at 340-718-1311 or 340-774-7477, or visit us online at doh.vi.gov. Finally, in May, just a week away, we will observe Mental Health Awareness Month with a host of activities. We invite everyone to join us in support of mental health wellness by wearing green on Monday, May 1st. Follow us on Facebook at Virgin Islands Department of Health for more information. Thank you, and to you, Director Joshin.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ellis and Director Mota, and good afternoon, Virgin Islanders. This is Director Joshin from Vaitima. For today, Monday the 24th of April 2023, I want to provide an update from the Environmental Local Emergency Planning Committee, known as the LEPC, on the scheduled removal of 3 hazardous chemicals from the Port Hamilton Refinery and Transportation Facility, which begins as soon as Tuesday, April 25th, 2023, with the approval by the EPA. For the past several months, since the EPA mandated the removal in December of 2022, the Environmental Local Emergency Planning Committee, including Port Hamilton, Ocean Point Terminals, Department of Planning and Natural Resources, VI Fire EMS, the Department of Health, Juan F. Louis Hospital, Department of Human Services, VI Police, the VI Government House Joint Information Center, the Virgin Islands National Guard, Vaitima, and the EPA have been working and meeting weekly to develop a community support plan in conjunction with the removal by EPA-approved contractors of 3 hazardous chemicals. One is rich amine solution, number 2 is anhydrous or concentrated ammonia, and third is liquid petroleum gas or LPG. The 253,000 gallons of rich amine solution will be de-inventoried into 55 certified containers and transported to the container port and taken out of the territory by ship. There's an additional 37,000 pounds or 10,500 gallons of LPG and 4,000 pounds or 8,500 gallons of the anhydrous ammonia to be also de-inventoried. The EPA Port Hamilton approved schedule for de-inventory, transportation to the container port, and shipment outside the territory of all 3 hazardous chemicals indicates the end time to be late June or early July. So this may be beginning as early as tomorrow, subject to EPA approval, but then it will be finishing up at the end of July or end of June, early July. The transportation of the hazardous chemicals by truck to the container port will be through the interconnecting fencing gate and not involve any movement on public highway. Port Hamilton contractors will de-inventory the anhydrous ammonia by transferring it to specifically designed shipping containers, transporting it to the container port, and shipment outside the territory for safe sale or disposal. The contractors will then transfer the LPG into shipping containers for off-island sale or usable products or for proper disposal. The EPA has established a website providing real-time results from air monitoring during the removal process at locations where the chemicals are located at the Port Hamilton facility, on the fence line, and in the St. Croix community. There's a total of 14 of these EPA air monitoring stations that are active 24 hours a day and are available to the public to observe on the EPA website. The EPA website is as follows. It's https://phrt epa.hub.arcgis.com. I'll say that again. https://phrt-epa.hub as in boy .arcgis.com, or you can keyword search PHRT and EPA. The website can be viewed in English, Spanish, or Haitian Creole. The EPA has also established a hotline number of 1-866-462-4789. The removal of this rich amine solution will be conducted 7 days a week during daylight periods only. The EPA members from the local emergency planning committee, including the Department of Health, Department of Human Services, DPNR, VITEMA, and VI Fire EMS, conducted a community outreach from the 14th to the 22nd of April at various locations on St. Croix. The community outreach included presentations by the EPA at Central High School and the University of the Virgin Islands, along with information sheets presented in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole. EPA has also provided information at the 14 air monitoring stations, which monitors in real time the following chemicals: hydrogen sulfide, or H2S, ammonia, which is NH3, sulfur dioxide, which is SO2, and nitrogen dioxide, or NO2. The EPA and the local Emergency Planning Committee have established a threshold for these air monitoring limits, which is defined in parts per million, which when reached will notify key agencies of increased levels from inside the fence line, on the fence line, or in the community at one of the monitoring stations. Actions could be taken as follows. 1, the EPA or VI Fire EMS would deploy roving air monitoring teams to validate a possible chemical release. 2, VITEMA sends a mass message notification to the public via VITEMA's Alert VI system with recommended actions ranging from awareness of a possible low-level hydrogen sulfide smell with rotten eggs being the symptom, which may affect individuals with upper respiratory conditions, to a shelter to place, to an evacuation for areas at risk, and finally, 3, when levels have subsided, an all clear message, again from Alert VI. For the evacuation condition to evacuate, the Department of Health and the Department of Human Services has identified the DC Canandaigua Community Center as a location for individuals to gather. Please visit the VITEMA website at www.vitema.vi.gov to sign up for Alert VI system to receive messages in English or Spanish by email, by text, or phone call. And you can also receive it again in English or Spanish. Additionally, the EPA has set up a hotline, I'll say again, for residents to report nuisance odors they may observe during these removal activities. The EPA hot number, again, I will say, is 1-866-462-4789. Again, 1-866-462-4789. If you're experiencing medical issues related to an odor, please call 911. Information residents will be asked to provide if they call the hotline is the date and time the odor was observed, the estate in which the odor was observed, and a brief description as to the odor. Is the odor persistent or is it past? And finally, have you notified any other agencies, local or federal? Any calls taken are considered anonymous. Private information does not need to be provided. Any personal information provided to the EPA is protected under the Privacy Act and will not be released to any other entity. The hotline can support individuals calling in English, in Spanish, or Haitian Creole. The EPA and other members of the local Emergency Planning Committee will continue to conduct future outreach events to include participation in on-air radio station broadcasts. Please continue to look for notices of these events and share the information and handout sheets to your friends and family. At this time, I'll turn it over to Ms. Howell.
Good afternoon, Virgin Islands. Thank you, Government House Communications, for offering District 70 this unique opportunity to share our exciting news in the Virgin Islands. Can you hear me? What is it? Okay. What is District 7020? District 7020 is Rotary International throughout the Caribbean. 10 island countries: Anguilla, Bahamas, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Haiti, Jamaica, St. Bart's, St. Martin, St. Martin, Turks and Caicos Island, and the United States Virgin Islands. And I'm telling you that because in another week, starting Saturday, you're going to see Rotarians from across the Caribbean coming to St. Croix for our 49th annual district conference. We're unique because of how we're spread geographically. So we have our president-elect's training, our district assembly, and our conference. Combination of 2 to 6 May, you're going to see about 300 to 350 Rotarians spread throughout the island to various activities. So where do we start? Well, we start with our President's-elect's training, and we're going to be hosting that at the University of the Virgin Islands. We're going to continue with our district assembly. We're going to host that at City of Refuge Worship Center. We're going to have our opening ceremony, which is open to the public by invitation, on Thursday. That's one you definitely want to see. And Friday and Saturday, we'll be continuing our training. Friday night, in conjunction with Jump Up, we're having our cultural experience. So we're going to share all the things that Crucians are known for with our guests. One of the things that's extremely unique to Rotary is on Thursday after the opening ceremony, we welcome Rotarians into our homes, and we call that home hospitality. So you're going to see buses and cars all over the island just traversing, and you don't have to wonder why. It's because Rotarians are here. So why I'm talking to the public, the businesses have been very supportive, and we're letting them know that the numbers might be a little higher than they're used to. But for the public, I've already bragged about Crucian hospitality, so I am expecting the public to support us where when you see Rotarians out there and they go back to their home country, they're saying, we want to return to St. Croix because their hospitality is second to none. So we are very excited. I have an awesome team working so that we can have all of these events for the Rotarians, and we expect some commingling. So you're going to notice we have been a bit creative in finding accommodations. So a lot of our Rotarians will be centrally housed in the Christiansted downtown area. So Rotarians will literally be taking over Christiansted for just about a week. You're going to see them walking around. They'll be participating. They'll be at the businesses. Just go up to them and says, thank you for all you do as Rotarians, as well as thank you for coming to the Virgin Islands. So in a nutshell, that's what's going to happen from the 2nd to the 6th. We thank all the support we've gotten so far. We look forward to the support we're going to get. And as the Rotarians come to St. Croix, show them some love. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Howell. So, as I mentioned, we are in a different location than we are accustomed to. We're not in Government House. We are at Bulky International Airways hangar, and because we're in an airplane hangar, there are airplanes that are coming and going. And so I'm going to beg your indulgence for maybe 20 seconds while one of the airliners parks, and we'll put the slate up and then we'll come back. Thank you for that, for those of you who are still with us. As I mentioned earlier, as you can tell by our presence here, a lot is happening across the territory, and the Brian Roach administration is certainly making headway on its efforts to create stronger families, stronger infrastructure, and a stronger Virgin Islands economy. I am pleased to announce today that the Governor Wang F. Louis Hospital has completed the move to its new state-of-the-art facility called JFL North this weekend, and has made significant progress in completing the process required for the completion of the 100% draw to begin the demolition of the current structure, which is expected to begin by the end of the year, and the construction of the new JFL hospital, which will commence after that period. And so we want to congratulate the entire team at JFL and everyone who had a hand in bringing this to fruition. And also to thank the community for its cooperation this weekend as they were working out the logistics to make that move from the what we know as the old Governor Wang F. Louis Hospital into the now JFL North facility. In other news, the Bureau of Internal Revenue and Department of Finance is releasing $10 million in income tax refunds, which is approximately 3,247 checks. Those refunds cover refunds from tax year 2021 and prior, filed through March 14th, 2021. And so what that means in layman's terms, if you had filed a prior year's tax, your due a refund, and you filed your return for prior year on or before March 14th, 2021, and you didn't have any issues, you're more than likely going to see a refund here within the next week. And so $10 million has been sent out, and that will go to approximately 3,247 tax filers. While we're on the subject of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, they have also launched their online excise portal, and this is part of the Bureau's larger effort to streamline its operations and to bring online services, mainly the effort to move toward online income tax filings. And so the ability for individuals to file and to pay for their excise tax filings online is their first step there, and so we want to celebrate the launch of that. And so for more information on this, you can go to their website, which is bir.vi.gov. Again, that website is bir.vi.gov. And in closing this afternoon, Carnival is in full swing. It has officially begun. It started with the last week or so with some activities, but tonight, this evening, is the official village opening at the Kelly Pupakeli Charleswell Festival or Carnival Village. And so we want to encourage everyone who is going to be partaking in all of the carnival activities, again, to please be safe. Do not drink and drive. Look out for your neighbors. Look out for one another. Have a safe and fun-filled carnival weekend, or week, actually. That concludes our press briefing this afternoon. I again apologize for the background noise. As I mentioned earlier, we are broadcasting this afternoon from the airplane hangar here at the Henry E. Rawson Airport, where we celebrated the ribbon cutting and inaugural flight of the new Inter-Island Airway Fly the Whale. Thank you and have a good afternoon, and we'll see you next week.